I've always felt emotionally safe and secure in my relationships. And you can even add a self-concept affirmation like, I feel whole, secure, and confident within myself. And welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we are going to be talking about a revision technique that I personally have found so much benefit from. Okay, so if the 3D has been triggering you in some way, shape, or form, and you just kind of need a little bit of a boost, a little bit of motivation to get through with your manifestations, or really just feel good about yourself, because I do sometimes, I do get clients saying that they don't even know whether or not to manifest because of all the things that the 3D is showing them. Well, fear not, I have the perfect solution for you. This will definitely help. This will help you, of course, get your manifestations, but also help you feel good within yourself, which as you should. So yeah, before getting started with the video, I did want to make a quick update slash announcement. Make a quick update. Wow. I did want to make an announcement on my life update. I have moved back to New York City. I'm currently in Manhattan. You can see the beautiful New York skyscrapers behind me. I can literally see Madison Square Garden and the New Yorker to the right of me. So yeah, it's super exciting. I am going to be making a video on how I manifested this. I am living in a luxury apartment, by the way. Behind me are floor-to-ceiling windows, which is exactly what I wanted, and I was able to manifest that via visualization. And I'm going to be making a whole new video about how I moved here, as well as, I know a lot of you have been asking for this, but like job affirmations as well, like how I got my job and career. So yeah, because I am here for my job. I do work in corporate tech, if you are new to my channel, and we had to move back to the city to go back to work in person, which I'm super excited about. Okay, I'm absolutely loving my apartment. I am going to be giving you a tour of it in the new manifestation video I make about how I manifested my luxury apartment. But it is a dream to be living here. I'm super grateful, super happy. One of the affirmations I actually used was, I'm a queen and goddess and always treated as such. And I kid you not, I literally have an in-unit washer dryer, like the most like bougie, oh my god, bougie bathroom with fluorescent lights. I have a dishwasher, which by the way, like for New York, that is like living like a queen or king. Okay, all of these amenities might seem normal anywhere else, but to live in this area, to live in a luxury apartment, it's a pretty big deal. And one thing that really helped me get there was the affirmation, I'm a queen and goddess and always treated as such, because I literally feel like I'm living like a queen. So yeah, that was a long update. I do apologize for that, but I'm super excited. And yeah, you'll probably be seeing this background quite a lot. I'm also going to be filming at night, and I do have my tapestry light and like room set up as well, so you'll be seeing that as a background. And again, I'm going to be doing a whole apartment tour, so you'll see exactly where I'm at, because I have gotten questions about this via my Instagram stories. So yeah, okay, anyways, on to the video. We are going to be talking about a revision technique that you can do in order to just revise anything that the 3D isn't showing you. Okay, so it's like if your SP, your specific person, did something that was triggering to you, that made you feel a certain way, maybe even caused you to kind of like waver or even like give up on your manifestation, and it just caused you to feel really anxious and all those feelings that we don't want to feel. This technique will really help. Okay, so what you're gonna do is take a piece of paper and fold it in half. Okay, and on the left side, I want you to write all the things that they're doing that you don't want to see, that they don't serve you, or maybe the things that you want them to do that they aren't doing right now. Okay, and then on the right side of the paper, again, the paper is folded, right? So I believe it's called Cornell note style. Yeah, I remember like learning about this in school. Like you fold the paper in like two halves vertically, and then on the left side you write about like you write a question like, oh, who was the first president, and then on the right side you write the answer. Yeah, anyway, sorry, that was a bit of a digression, but on the right side I want you to revise everything that they did on the left side. Okay, so like for example, if SP said something that kind of triggered you, like they don't want to be with you, they're not ready for a relationship, then on the right side, I want you to write, no, they said the exact opposite. They said that they are ready to be with me. They are receptive to my love. They are receptive to be in this relationship with me. They want to be with me more than anything else in the world. Okay, I would always say like write more affirmations on the right side, and like literally just pour your heart out. Okay, write like one line on the left side and just be like, nope, they didn't say that. And then yeah, just do that for everything that's been bothering you, like the main things that have been bothering you. And after you're done writing the right side of it, which is the revision side, I want you to tear the left half of the paper, crumple it up, and throw it away. Okay, just do that. It's like a metaphor for you getting rid of anything that is triggering you in the 3D, anything that you don't want to see, anything that maybe you wanted to see but they're not doing as well. This will help you feel just good about yourself. It's more of like just a metaphor for an energetic renewal, if you will. Okay, yeah. And do you have to do all of this? No. But will it make you feel good? Yes. And I know for some of you, you're probably like, wait, I don't even want to write down the things that they were doing because it's too triggering. Then maybe just think about it, okay? And then just revise it in your head. Maybe don't even write down the things that they did that triggered you. Still just, take that piece of paper, fold it in half, write the things that you want to see on the right side, crumple the left half away, and recycle it, okay? Yeah, definitely recycle, yeah. But I feel like this is a really good way of figuring out, what exactly has been bothering you, because sometimes when you write things down, you realize that like, oh, okay, this has been bothering me, but it's actually because of this other thing that happened to me from the past that I got triggered by. And you'll notice that like maybe it wasn't even the actual thing that they were doing that was bothering you, but it was your feelings associated with that thing that ended up bothering you. And you might realize that like, hey, the reason why this even bothered me in the first place is because I have so and so, like for example, so and so wounds, or maybe because this happened to me in my past. And like in the revision side, I want you to write, on the right side when you're revising, I want you to write that you've always, like, for example, if your person, let's say they're not like, communicating with you that much, it could have something to do with like, abandonment issues, or, your fears kicking in about your person not, like, getting bored of you or something like that. So on the right side, I want you to write, I have always been fully pursued, okay? I have always been chased. Okay, people have always wanted to be with me. I've always been in happy, healthy, committed relationships. I've always felt emotionally safe and secure in my relationships. And you can even add a self-concept affirmation like, I feel whole, secure, and confident within myself, which will then, add to the security that you feel in your relationships. Because when you give that feeling of security to yourself, that feeling of feeling whole to yourself, your partner will follow, okay? Your SP, really anything in the 3D will reflect that as well. But in order for you to get that security from your external reality, from people in your external reality, it is important that you give that to yourself, okay? And just honestly write it down, okay? We don't have to feel secure 100% of the time. We are humans. We get insecure. We get anxiety, and that's totally fine. You don't have to beat yourself up about it. No one is 100% like, like okay, maybe Nicki Minaj's, the Barb's, okay? I don't know why, but I just thought of her. Every time I think of confidence, I think of her. But my thing is like, we as humans, we get a lot of thoughts, and it's okay to have those thoughts, but the point here is for you to neutralize those thoughts. And this process will really help you do that. This process will help you figure out where your underlying limiting beliefs are, where your triggers are. And the whole right side of it is the therapeutic part, is the part where you're really revising all of these negative things and creating a whole new reality. Okay, you're dropping the old story by doing this and creating space for a better, more desirable story to come in. Okay, one that is conducive to what you are trying to manifest. So yeah, do try that out. I personally have done that. I was a little bit like hesitant to do that myself. I do believe this is something that I made up. I don't know if I saw this online or maybe it's a combination of ideas. I will say I got the inspiration from Sammy's Mermaid Gang. Nikki and Flossie are some of the coaches from Sammy's channel, and they said that they do these things called FU letters, where they write down all the things that like that they're mad about regarding that person, like F you for doing this, F you for making me feel that way, and then they crumple it up and they throw it away. Okay, so for me, it's kind of similar to that, except this is all about revision and writing down the things that you do want. I feel like people have definitely talked about this in some way, shape, or form. And when I, like I said, when I first heard of this, I'm just like, yeah, well, I don't really want to write down, the things that, my SP did, because then like I'm giving more thought to it. But see, the thing is, what you resist sometimes persists. But I am kind of thinking of, not saying that anymore. I realize that is kind of a limiting belief. Technically, that thing does not have to persist. You can just affirm that whatever you resist, it just goes away and you never see it ever again, okay? But if you really have been struggling, then sometimes it helps to really get your thoughts out and write it down on paper. And like I said, when you're writing it down, as opposed to just thinking about it, you'll be able to focus on what it is that you do want. Okay, I've talked about this in my other videos, but there's this thing called RAS, reticular activating system, which when you write down, when you put pen to paper, you're able to focus on what it is that you do want, and your thoughts aren't really all over the place. And it prevents you from that downward spiral that you go through, because sometimes when you think of that one negative thing, you think of like all the people that have done that negative thing to you, or all the past experiences where you've experienced that thing, and it's just like you don't want to go down that rabbit hole. So that's why writing it down really does help. Yeah, that is for me, I have done this during like my hardest moments, my hardest times. I'm just like, what? I just need to get this on paper so I can finally get it out of my system. So yeah, do try that. Another affirmation that I wanted to give you to kind of feel a little bit less triggered about the 3D and, have you feel good, whole, secure within yourself is that, say this affirmation: it is easy for me to ignore the 3D. Okay? As simple as that. It is easy for me to ignore the 3D, because a lot of you, you're still checking their socials, you're still, creating fake accounts, you're still doing whatever you can to get confirmation from the 3D. And will you still be able to get your manifestations? Yes. Okay, because again, I'm really about dissolving limiting beliefs. I still think that no matter what you do, you will still end up getting your manifestation, because it's like the minute you started manifesting that thing, your subconscious mind will lead you to do certain things that will get your manifestation. But I'm seeing that for a lot of you, until you are like feeling good about yourself, secure about your manifestation, confident in your manifestation, you probably should not be checking the 3D too much. Okay, and that's not to say that you have to believe in your manifestations. I always say on this channel, you do not have to believe in your manifestations or even your affirmations, because sometimes it is hard to believe that, especially when the 3D is showing you the opposite. And yet that's another limiting belief right here, you guys. Like every time, as you can tell, I kind of like argue with myself, but as I say these things, I'm just like, okay, I realize it's a limiting belief, but for the purposes of this video, from what I have noticed in my experience and other people's experiences, seeing things in the 3D can sometimes, cause you to not affirm as much, lose motivation, which can cause that manifestation to be somewhat delayed, because you're not even sure if you want it anymore because you're triggered. And it's just like, maybe for some people, they're just like, oh, that's a good thing actually, because then that showed me I didn't want that person. Honestly, it's up to you. I'm never going to tell you like, you don't give up on your whatever it is. Like that's up to you. But I'm seeing that for a lot of you, if you had spent that amount of time checking the 3D on your actual affirmations instead, you would have already gotten your manifestations by now. So I highly do advise, not taking too much inspired action, not checking the 3D. Again, you'll still get your manifestations, and you can always just affirm that like you're secure no matter what the 3D shows you. Okay, that's another affirmation I want you to use. Going back to that, limiting belief thing that I was saying, because what I was saying is that, sometimes hard to see something in the 3D that ends up triggering you, but you can just, manifest that you're emotionally stable all the time, and it literally does not matter, okay? What you see in the 3D. So yeah, anything that you have going on for you that's an obstacle, any sort of problem you have, there is an affirmation for you to counteract that problem. There's an affirmation that will, completely get rid of that problem. Okay, so for a lot of us, it's like, we do manifest like, material things, a specific person, a relationship, but something we really need to manifest is, feeling good, getting into that, state where we're feeling happy most of the time, because honestly, that's how life should be, in my opinion. That's just my philosophy. That's my opinion. I don't think that, I really question the whole thing about, people feeling depressed and anxious all the time. Like you guys, like, another limiting belief here, like we do have a limited life here, okay? Like we're not gonna live forever. I mean, unless you think you are, that's totally fine. But it's like, why would you want to spend, a lot of your life being anxious and worrying about what someone else is doing, worrying about this, worrying about that, when, you can just feel so secure in, the fact that your manifestation is on its way to you, and, feel secure in yourself and enjoy your life, and just, sit back, relax, and watch your manifestations literally come to you, right? So yeah, because a lot of us, like, okay, I've done this myself, so I'm not judging you at all, but it's like at times it's like I've been out with my friends, and it's like I was checking, in the past I was checking, like, my crushes, like Instagram and stuff like that. I'm like, no, you know what, like, I am not living in the present moment. I'm totally giving into the 3D. I'm getting triggered by the 3D. I'm not, spending time with my friends the way that I should. I mean, they were on their phones too, but like, still, you get the point here, right? And yeah, when, that affirmation that I told you about, it's easy for me to ignore the 3D, that really helped me not check socials as much. That's pretty much it. Like, I mean, I guess in this day and age, that's like all you can really do, right? Check their social media. That's like, one way to tamper with the 3D. But when I said it's easy for me to ignore the 3D, and when I said other affirmations, like, I feel whole, secure, and confident within myself, that urge to, like, look up their name on socials just reduced so much more. And I do feel like, after that, like, I was able to feel good and whole, yes, about myself, which is, the main goal here, but also about my manifestations, which, again, you don't need to do that, but it's like, if you can do that, then that is a good sign, right? Like, your manifestation has no choice but to come to you after that. So yeah, that's just something that I recommend doing. I actually did take notes for this video, so let me just go ahead and see if there's anything else that you should know, whatever the 3D is triggering you. Yeah, so I feel like we pretty much hit on the main points here. Okay, just affirm it's easy for me to ignore the 3D, and always do self-concept affirmations. Okay, always. I'm whole, secure, confident within myself. Like I said in the beginning, I am a queen and goddess and always treated like such, or I'm a king and god and always treated like such. Okay, most of my viewers are, females, so yeah, I do try to make this like everyone friendly, but sometimes when I don't, just use it to your, use your pronouns, right? So yeah. Also, something else that I wanted to say is that the 3D that you're living in right now, it is just one reality out of the infinite realities we live in, okay? There are so many things that are happening, and I promise you, there probably are realities that are even worse than your 3D, because I know that some of you, you can definitely feel like, oh, why does this happen to me? Like, the worst is just happening to me, blah, blah, blah. If it makes you feel better, there can be, worse realities, but also, you never have to think about that, but it's just like, whatever you're experiencing right now, like, yes, there's always a better version of that, and then there's always a worse version of that. And, you want to think from the better version of that, right? You want to think from like, okay, well, SP and I are already together, but it's like, if you ever do feel down, like, people, that's a trick that people use, well, it could be worse, right? Like, that to me is just something that I use, because I used to be in like I used to have such a victim mentality where I was like, why is this happening? Like, I would literally give myself headaches. I would like keep myself up at night, and I'm just like, girl, this is not the worst, okay? Things can be worse. Be happy for what you have. And, that helped me just, okay, that, oh my gosh, you guys, I have so much going on in my mind right now, but basically what I'm trying to say is that express gratitude for what you are experiencing that is working out for you, because I promise you there's nothing that's like 100% bad, okay? Like, even if you lost your job, even if like your SP, is not hitting you up, or you're with the third party or whatever, like, I mean, still think like, hey, at least I have my health, at least, I have water, at least I have internet. Like, if you're watching this, you have access to Wi-Fi and data, right? So yeah, that's just something that I tell myself. I think that, when the 3D triggers you, that's when you should also resort to gratitude affirmations. Do you need it to manifest? No. But a lot of this process is about you feeling good about yourself, right? It's not, again, it's not just about the end goal. It's also about you figuring out who you are deep down, and learning more about yourself on a deeper level, and saying things like, saying gratitude affirmations will help your subconscious remember the things that are working for you so that you can experience more of that. Okay, that's quite literally how it works. You know, it's pretty self-explanatory, but it's just like sometimes people forget that. I myself forget that. So like it's like even when things are going completely downhill, I express gratitude for what I do have, because a lot of the times, you know, we need to like literally babysit our brain, because our brain can sometimes, you know, go on this like negative spiral, this downward spiral, when you know, we should actually be doing the opposite. Like my point is, if we can go on this negative slash downward spiral, we can also make our brain go on an upward positive spiral, right? So yeah, that's the whole point of doing gratitude affirmations. The more you think about the good things, the good memories, again, the more your subconscious brings out more of that, right? Because like what you focus on is what you essentially attract. Where your attention goes is where energy flows. Or is it, oh my gosh, I always get that quote messed up, but you know what I'm trying to say here, okay? But that's literally the neuroscience behind that. It's like the most, you know, simplified way. I have kind of been reading, like I literally read like neuroscience articles on how that works. Maybe I'll make a more in-depth video, but for the purposes of this video, it's like, you know, when you have that one negative thought, if you can like gaslight yourself into thinking things are worse than they actually are, which by the way, that is kind of another word for anxiety. You can also gaslight yourself into thinking that things are better, okay, then maybe they are in the 3D, and that's called being delusional. And it's funny because I literally made a tarot video talking about this exact thing. But this goes against everything that we probably learned while growing up. Like, oh, being delusional, that's so weird, that's illogical, that's, you know, even this word delusional, it sounds so bad, but it's actually not, because like that is how manifestation works. You have to make everything twist in your favor. You have to make everything work in your favor. Oh, SP didn't message me. He's with his family. He's with his sister, or she's with her brother. Oh, SP has, you know, posted a picture of like, you know, a date-like scene. Just be like, oh, it wasn't a date-like. Oh my gosh, it's not a date-like scene. They are with their family members. They just decided to do that to make me jealous or something like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I know like it sounds so crazy saying that, but that's quite literally what it is. And it's like, I see so many of, you know, funny memes on TikTok about like how, you know, people think that everyone's just staring at them when they walk down the airport, or when they're in public, they think that everyone's in love with them. I mean, that literally is confidence, okay? And if you actually do think that way, believe it or not, it works in your favor, and it brings about more favorable circumstances to you. Well, some people say it's a little bit conceited, it's a little bit whatever. I mean, whatever, you know, you choose whatever labels for that. I personally think it's confident to think that, like, you know, you're admired, you're praised, people have good things to say about you, right? You're not hurting anyone by that, right? It's only bad if, like, you know, you use it to manipulate people. Like, there's a huge difference between being confident and straight up being, like, you know, narcissistic and conceited, right? So you never have to worry about that. That is something I wanted to address, because there are some, you know, disbelievers and like haters that say things like, oh, well, what the heck, like these law of assumption, these manifestation people are so, you know, narcissistic and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, we're not. We're just working on our confidence. If you did that, you would not feel the need to comment that, right? So yeah, that's just something else that I wanted to put out there. I was not planning to make this video this long, but like, you know, as I'm talking, I'm thinking of like, you know, everything else that I really want to share with you. And that's exactly how that scripting, the paper revision technique works. So the paper revision technique works, the one that I told you about. I should have said the name in the beginning, but I like to call it the paper revision technique. Like when you write down certain things, or even when you just, you know, speak it out loud, you're able to really see where your thoughts are, okay? Or like you're able to see, again, like what you could be doing more of, what your limiting beliefs are. Like even in this video, as I said things out loud, I'm just like, oh wait, that's a limiting belief, right? So when you do that, you know, especially when you write, especially when you say it out loud, you will be able to identify those and make it work in your favor, okay? As opposed to just thinking, just affirming. It is possible to do that, but like, I guess for me, you know, this is just where I'm at right now, and it's something that I am trying to work on. But you know, my thoughts can also be all over the place, which is why I practice mindfulness, meditation, and breath work. Again, all of these things you do not need to objectively manifest, okay? In order to, the key word here being objectively manifest, all you have to do is affirm and persist. That's what I believe. That's my assumption. It's always worked for me. You technically don't even have to do like, you know, shadow work or any of that. You just, I mean, I think finding out where your limiting beliefs lie is shadow work. It is a form of like, you know, inner work and things like that, but it doesn't have to be this worn out, intensive process where like, you know, you're going through this huge like cathartic catharsis, whatever, thing, right? Like it really isn't that, it's not supposed to be that hard. It's not supposed to be, it really isn't even supposed to be that deep if you think about it, okay? Because we have been manifesting our entire lives, and you have manifested things without doing all of this. You have manifested good things without, um, consciously affirming or scripting or whatever, because yeah, like I said, we've been manifesting since the day we were born. Even when we were toddlers, we manifested certain things without, like, obviously, consciously knowing about that, even, yeah, before this journey. And like, think about the people that don't even know about manifestation. Think about, like, how they manifest. They don't really have to do, this, like, honestly, to each their own. But it's just like, if you find yourself, constantly stressing, doing a lot, then see, that is a sign for you to kind of recalibrate. And I always like saying, intellectualize your affirmations, right? Like, if you're getting really triggered by the 3D, you just say, it's easy for me to ignore the 3D. Okay, that didn't even happen. That doesn't even exist. Okay. And honestly, the paper revision technique, it's not something that you have to keep doing. It's more about the things that are, like, mainly triggering you, which I notice for a lot of people when it comes to SPs is lack of contact, lack of communication, and third parties. Okay. And for some of you, SP saying something that was really triggering you, or being a little bit neglectful, I feel like those are the 3 to 4, like, top things. And once you understand that and why it's happening and why it's making you feel that way, you will be able to, figure out the right affirmations for you to drop that old story. Like, sometimes when we just think off the top of our mind, it's like, you can still manifest doing that. Okay, I'm not saying that, you always have to write things down or say things out loud, but it's like, what affirmations you need to say, because you have that infinite intelligence within you. You have everything that you need to manifest whatever it is that you want. And yes, I know I use a lot of, like, key buzzwords, but I actually like that. Okay, like, I grew up around a very academically competitive environment, and I like using those, like, SAT words here. But like, when you write these things down, you'll be able to pinpoint exactly why you think that way. You'll be able to pinpoint that past experience that made you think that way, and you will be able to come up with a revision affirmation yourself that will really help with that. Okay, like, I give a lot of revision affirmations on my channel, and just affirmations in general, which you are, of course, free to use. I also like looking up affirmations, but, like, when I write down my problems, I sometimes realize, like, okay, the affirmation that I really need for this is this, and, like, saying these exact words is something that will help me. Because it's okay to, like, write down a lot of affirmations. I script every single day, and I do affirm a lot, but if there's something specific that I want my SP to do, rather than just writing down all of these affirmations, I would just loop 3 to 4 main affirmations. I do believe, that's what Sammy Ingram said. I did want to credit her for that. I think that idea really stuck with me. Just saying 3 to 4 affirmations to get rid of your main barriers, the main things that are triggering you, is something that will really help. Instead of, and instead of saying, like, oh my gosh, instead of micromanaging every single little thing. And that's just where I'm at right now. Some people are, they work well with, they're able to manifest better with micromanaging. They're able to see more changes by writing down, super specific things, like, oh, they always initiate contact, they always do this, they do that, because there are specific things that people want their SPs to do. And if that's you, that's totally fine. But I would say have 3 to 4 main/blanket affirmations that you use that will imply that they already do those things. So it's like, if you say things like, SP and I are in a happy, healthy, committed relationship, which is one of my favorite affirmations, and you've probably heard me say this a lot if you have been following me, and there's a reason for that. Like, I stick with that. I'm pretty diligent. I've even before I was while I was manifesting my SP, before I got together with my SP, that is exactly what I said. Every single day, I just looped it in my mind, when I was doing idle tasks, like brushing my teeth or showering. But, saying things like, yeah, SP and I are in a happy, healthy, committed relationship, will imply that they always contact you, will imply that they're always affectionate towards you, will imply that they always, do the sweet, specific things that you want them to do, because your subconscious mind knows what you want. Okay, the only thing your subconscious mind doesn't know is the difference between what's real and what's not. And that's where you really have to kind of, like, trick your subconscious mind, or not even really trick, but it's like your subconscious mind is storing literally everything, right? It's more about you tapping into that aspect of your mind, subconscious mind, that will help lead you to your manifestations, that positive part of your mind, if that makes sense. Because, you know, like I was saying in the beginning-ish middle of this video, when you think about the good things that have happened to you, your subconscious will bring about more of those good things, or you'll be able to retrieve the memories of all the good things that have happened to you. You'll be going on that upward spiral, that positive spiral, okay? That's why it is really important to affirm and really persist in those affirmations. You know, a lot of people say things like, even like people who are, you know, trying to be coaches and things like that, and to, you know, to each their own. These are their assumptions. I'm not by any means bashing them. I just personally don't agree with the idea that like, oh, affirming and persisting doesn't work, because it has worked for me. Okay, when you affirm enough, you're quite literally creating new neurological pathways in your brain. And that's probably something I'm going to be saying a lot on this channel and reminding you of. I did spit out a neuroscience fact in a couple of my other videos on how that works. If you know me, you know exactly what I'm going to say, but I know there are new people watching this video. So how this works is that every time you have a thought, there's a chemical that's emitted called a peptide, okay? And you also have receptor sites throughout your brain that absorb those peptides. So when you think negative thoughts, you've already created a lot of receptor sites for those peptides, which quite literally flow to your DNA, okay? They go to your DNA, and that, you know, makes that could either make or break things for you, right? But it's like, if you have been thinking negative thoughts, if you're used to thinking so many negative thoughts, then, you know, there's so many receptor sites for that, then that when you start thinking positively, there's such little receptor sites that it's hard for your DNA to absorb those positive peptides, which is why affirmations and persisting in those affirmations, okay, repeating those affirmations is so important, okay? It is important for you to do that so you can create new receptor sites and create more receptor sites that will override those negative receptor sites, so that, you know, your DNA, your cells can absorb these positive thoughts and bring about positive circumstances in your 3D reality, and most importantly, make you feel good about yourself, okay? That's the most simplified version I can explain it in. Hopefully that made sense, but that is quite literally the neuroscience behind manifestation and why affirming and persisting works. Okay everyone, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video right here. I really hope this helped. Let me know if you have any questions you want me to address. I will try to address them in the comments or make another video about that in the future. I am probably going to be doing a Q&A video soon, so yeah, and I definitely will be doing a apartment tour video, okay, because like I said, I'm in this beautiful luxury apartment in Manhattan, New York City, and oh my gosh, I cannot stop admiring the view that I have and the skyscrapers behind me. I never even knew how much I loved tall buildings until I came to New York City, okay? So yeah, super excited to be making that, and yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and end the video right here. I wish you all the best going forward.